What is going on, everyone? If you are watching this video, then you probably are wondering how to ride a motorcycle. And I just want to say congrats, because I've only been riding for a few months, about 4 months now actually, and I absolutely have loved it. And I know that you guys will hopefully love it too. So this video, we're going to kind of focus on 2 points. The first point is what all the controls are. Where they are, what they do, how they function, what the purpose of them is. And then the second part, we're actually going to be focusing on riding and how to do that. First and foremost, if you all do not know how to drive a manual transmission car, I absolutely 100% without a doubt recommend doing that first before attempting to ride. Whether that be from a neighbor, a friend, coworker, family member, anybody that you know that has a manual transmission car, just ask them if they'd be willing to take 15, 20, 30 minutes and teach you just kind of the basics and how to drive. And that will help you out so much, because with a bike you have to be used to getting on 2 wheels and balancing and turning, which is all super different. So already having the basics of how to drive a manual transmission will help you out so much. So yeah, let's jump right into it. First off, we're going to start with the controls on the left side. So left handlebar, we have right here our clutch. This is where it differs a lot from a car, is that the clutch is on your hand and your shifter is right here with your foot. So you have your clutch right here, and then moving on over, we have our brights. So flicked up is bright, flicked down is not. We also have our blinkers, which you push whichever way you want to go, and then to cancel it, you just push in. And then we also have our horn. So coming over here also, this is our choke. And so if you have an older bike, this bike right here is an 06, and this is probably one of the later model of bikes to still be carbureted. But older bikes are carbureted and will have a choke. And so if you have one, when you start the bike or when it's cold, flick your choke on, and then that'll just prime your carburetor with the fuel it needs. And then when it's warmed up, you can just flick it right off. Moving on to the center, we obviously have our speedometer here, our tachometer over there, and these lights right here is what we're going to focus on next. This is our low oil pressure light, and this light is the one you're going to want to pay attention to. This is your neutral indicator light. And so most bikes, no matter older or newer, most bikes will have some sort of light or something that will indicate if you are in neutral or if you're in gear. And so basically when this light is on, it might be kind of hard to see if I can cover that up, but when that light is on, that means your bike is in neutral. It's safe to take your hand off the clutch and you won't stall it. Over here we have our blinker light. See when I turn my blinker on, light flashes, and this last blue light is our brights. So I already talked a little bit about our shift lever, or our gear shifter, I guess. And this is different from a car in the sense that instead of moving side to side, you actually move up and down to change gears. This doesn't go in and out, just up and down. So when this is all the way down, all the way clicked down, that is in first gear. And so above first gear is neutral, above neutral second, then third, fourth, fifth, sixth, however many gears your bike has. And so once again, neutral is in between first and second. Here's your foot peg. This is where your foot will rest while your toes either move this up or down, and obviously your kickstand. So coming on to the right side, we'll focus on the handlebar first. This is going to be your front brake. This is where you're going to have most of your braking power. I don't know if you can tell the difference in size between these brakes, your front brakes, and your back brakes. But your front brakes are a lot bigger, and that's where most of your stopping power is. So front brakes are here. You also have your throttle, which you twist, and that gives it gas. You really don't have to twist it much for fuel to start going in. Then we have our kill switch. So when you want to shut the bike off, you flick your switch up to where this X is, And when you want to start it, you have to flick this down, and there is your ignition. And so you're going to hold that in, and that will start up your bike. So coming down here to the right, just like the other side, we have our foot peg, and this is going to be your rear brake. So you don't have one control that does both. Most bikes will have a rear brake and a front brake up there. So that's pretty much it for the basics, and we will hop right into how to actually drive. All right, now on to the fun part of how to actually ride the bike. And so first off, we'll start by getting on, and we'll start her up. So one important thing to note is that a lot of bikes will not start or will not go into gear if your kickstand is down. And so you're going to want to take the weight off it, flick it up, and how you start it, you're going to want to hold in the clutch. And a lot of bikes, again, they will not start if your bike isn't in neutral. So make sure you're in neutral. Turn your kill switch off, and you're going to hold in the starter button. And you'll start right up. And yeah. So first off, what I would recommend doing is start off by putting it in gear. So you'll hold in the clutch, flick the shift lever down into first gear, and you'll hear an audible click, and you'll feel it too. And this is the gas, I didn't mention this earlier, and it's very sensitive. So for this first part, don't even touch the gas, just hold on to your handlebar and slowly let out the clutch till you feel the bite point. And as you can see, you can just walk with your bike. So you can really get a feel for how to balance your bike, what it's going to feel like, and this will just help you get a lot more comfortable and a lot more familiar with your bike in the first place. And so I'd recommend doing that a few times. That was one of the most helpful things for me when I started, was just being able to figure out the balance, figure out where I was comfortable, so I didn't feel like I was always going to tip over. So we'll turn around, and then this time we're going to give it some gas. And so once again, and I like to start with one foot up on the peg. So you're going to start off to feel the bite point, and I'm just going to give it just a little bit of gas. And you can see it doesn't take much rotation. So go till I feel the bite, give it some gas, and you take off just like that. Like I said, if you're familiar with manual transmissions, this will not be super hard for you to get down. So, the next thing that we'll want to focus on is actually shifting between gears. And so normally I don't like to shift if I'm below 3,000 RPMs. So we'll just get going till about 3,000-ish, and then we'll shift from first into second gear. And so remember, if you're going from first to neutral, you'll go just a soft click up. You won't push super hard. But if you're in first, you can skip neutral, go straight to second by giving it a solid click up. Just giving it a little more oomph, and that should get you right into second gear. So we'll start off in first, like we did before. Get her going. We'll get going up until about 3,000. Clutch in, go into second, and release it. So once again, it's honestly not super difficult if you're familiar with it, but just getting that practice down and getting familiar with the bite point and the catch point, that will make all the difference. So I would recommend, as you're starting off, be patient with yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you're hard or if you don't get it right away. It takes practice, it takes effort. And like I said, if you're familiar with manual transmissions, it won't be as big of a challenge for you. So I had zero motorcycle experience, and after about 4 to 5 hours of just practice and alone time and figuring it out by myself, I was comfortable enough to ride it out on the roads. So Obviously everybody is different, but hopefully this video helps you guys out a bunch. Thanks for watching.